In the boundless oceans, there exists a predator unlike any other, one that commands the waters with a combination of raw power and sophisticated intelligence: the killer whale. But this creature is far more than just a hunter. Today, we will uncover the hidden depths of the killer whale's biology, their incredible intelligence, and their role as rulers of the sea. Stick with us, because what you're about to learn will change the way you see the ocean's greatest predator. In a moment, we'll dive deep into how killer whales communicate in ways no other marine creature can. But first, let's explore why these apex predators are so important to the delicate balance of our oceans. Killer whales, scientifically known as Orcinus orca, are not just the top predators in the ocean. They are a keystone species. Without them, entire marine ecosystems could fall apart. These creatures sit at the pinnacle of the food chain, controlling the populations of species below them, from seals to fish to even other whales. Why does this matter to us? Because the health of our oceans depends on predators like the killer whale to maintain balance. When we lose apex predators, the ecosystem can collapse, causing ripples that affect everything from the smallest fish to the largest marine mammals. Now let's dive into the remarkable biology and anatomy that makes killer whales the kings of the ocean. At the core of every apex predator lies physical prowess, and the killer whale is no exception. A typical male killer whale can weigh between 8,000 and 12,000 pounds, with some males tipping the scales at up to 14,000 pounds. Females, while generally smaller, can still reach impressive weights of 7,000 to 9,000 pounds. In terms of length, adult males measure between 20 to 26 feet, while females are slightly shorter, measuring 16 to 23 feet. But did you know the largest orca ever recorded was a staggering 32 feet long and weighed an estimated 22,000 pounds? Now take a moment to imagine this. An animal as long as a bus and weighing as much as 3 large SUVs, gliding effortlessly through the water at speeds of up to 34 miles per hour. These animals are designed for power and speed. Let's talk about one of the most iconic features of the orca: its dorsal fin. In males, this fin can reach up to 6 feet tall, taller than the average human. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The dorsal fin's shape and size vary depending on the orca's ecotype, a term we'll explore later, and play a critical role in helping scientists identify individuals in the wild. But it's not just their size that's impressive. In a moment, we'll discuss how these orcas hunt some of the largest and most dangerous prey in the world, using not brute strength, but complex strategy. Orcas are perhaps the most versatile predators on the planet. Their diet varies drastically depending on their region and ecotype. For example, resident orcas, found in the Pacific Northwest, primarily feed on fish, especially salmon. In fact, studies have shown that salmon makes up about 96% of the diet of resident orcas, with Chinook salmon being the preferred species. These orcas are known to consume up to 200 pounds of fish per day. Then there are transient orcas, also called Biggs killer whales. These orcas specialize in hunting marine mammals, seals, sea lions, dolphins, and even the occasional whale. A group of transient orcas has been documented taking down a grey whale calf, which can weigh up to 1,500 pounds. Despite the grey whale's size, transient orcas work together in highly coordinated attacks, using strategies that would make military generals proud. Let's break down some of these strategies. First, we have wave washing. Imagine you're a seal resting on a floating piece of ice in the frigid waters of the Antarctic. You feel safe. After all, you're on solid ground, and the killer whales swimming below can't reach you, right? Think again. Orcas have developed a technique called wave washing that's as ingenious as it is terrifying. In this coordinated attack, a group of orcas swims together toward the ice floe, often in a tight, synchronized formation. As they approach, they create massive waves that slam against the ice. The goal? To topple the ice floe or simply wash the unsuspecting seal into the water. Once the seal is in the ocean, it's vulnerable, and the orcas, now in their element, easily close in. What's even more astonishing is the level of precision this requires. These waves have to be perfectly timed and powerful enough to dislodge the seal without damaging the ice too much. This cooperative hunting strategy is a prime example of orcas' advanced social structure and communication abilities. They work as a team, each orca understanding its role, making their hunting technique efficient and highly effective. Their second technique is quite the dangerous one even for a skilled orca: beach hunting. Now, let's head to the shallow waters near the shore. Orcas in some regions have learned to intentionally beach themselves to catch prey. This behavior, while extremely risky, demonstrates their ability to adapt to different environments and prey types. Picture this. A seal is lounging just near the water's edge, thinking it's safe from predators. However, a determined orca charges at full speed and with a calculated lunge, beaches itself momentarily on the shore, grabbing the seal in its jaws before using the next wave to slide back into the water. It's a dangerous tactic. If the orca misjudges its approach, it could get stuck on the beach, risking injury or death. This behavior isn't instinctual. In fact, it's learned, meaning orcas observe one another and teach these skills within their family pods. Some orca populations are known to pass down beach hunting strategies to their young, showcasing a level of cultural knowledge that rivals even some primates. Orcas that employ beach hunting have developed a keen understanding of tides, wave patterns, and the behavior of seals on the shore. They pick their moments carefully, waiting for the right tide or conditions to minimize the risk. This hunting technique highlights their problem-solving abilities and willingness to take calculated risks to secure a meal. Shark hunting. If you think wave washing and beach hunting are impressive, orcas' approach to shark hunting might just leave you speechless. Orcas have been observed preying on sharks, including great whites, using an extraordinary method that taps into a shark's biology. Sharks have a strange vulnerability. When flipped upside down, they enter a state called tonic immobility. This state essentially paralyzes the shark, making it unable to defend itself. Orcas have figured this out, and they exploit it with surgical precision. Here's how it works. An orca will attack a shark, often by ramming or biting at its fins. Then, using their immense strength and agility, they flip the shark over, rendering it immobile. In this state, the shark is a sitting duck. Orcas often go after the liver, which is rich in nutrients and energy. Some orcas have even been seen consuming only the liver, leaving the rest of the shark behind. What's truly remarkable about this technique is that orcas don't seem to rely on it for every shark they hunt. It's a behavior observed in certain populations, suggesting that, like beach hunting, it's a learned skill passed down through generations. This demonstrates not only orcas' ability to outwit their prey, but also their capacity to learn and innovate based on the species they target. And yes, that includes the fearsome great white shark. In a bit, we'll talk more about how orcas have earned their reputation as the only predator capable of consistently taking down sharks. One of the most fascinating aspects of killer whale biology is their variation across different populations. Scientists have identified at least 10 distinct orca ecotypes, each with unique hunting techniques, social structures, and diets. For example, resident orcas. Primarily fish eaters, these orcas are known for their vocal communication and complex social hierarchies. They are often found in large, stable family units. Transient orcas. Known for hunting marine mammals, these orcas are quieter and more stealthy, as they rely on surprise attacks. Offshore orcas. These orcas live further out in the ocean and are known to hunt sharks, specifically targeting their livers, which are rich in nutrients. These differences aren't just about diet. They reflect deep cultural distinctions between orca populations. Some scientists have gone as far as to suggest that orcas from different ecotypes may be on their way to becoming entirely separate species. Killer whales are not just predators, they are teachers. They pass down knowledge through generations, with older orcas teaching the young how to hunt specific prey in their region. This brings us to a crucial aspect of their lives: communication. Killer whales have one of the most complex vocal communication systems in the animal kingdom. Orcas use clicks, whistles, and pulsed calls to communicate with one another. But what's truly fascinating is that each pod has its own dialect, passed down through generations. This means that killer whales from one region speak a different language than those from another. Scientists have discovered that these dialects can be so distinct that even orcas living in the same region may not understand each other. Much like human languages, these dialects are learned from birth and are crucial for social cohesion within the pod. Orcas can produce sounds in the frequency range of 0.5 kHz to 40 kHz, with their hearing range extending well beyond human capabilities. This ability is central to their use of echolocation, a biological sonar system that allows them to see underwater by interpreting the echoes of their clicks. With echolocation, an orca can detect the size, shape, and even the internal structure of an object, such as the swim bladder of a fish. And as we'll see later, their communication and echolocation abilities make them not only hunters, but also highly social creatures with complex emotional lives. Killer whales live in matriarchal societies where family bonds are central to their survival. A typical orca pod consists of mothers, their offspring, and occasionally extended family members. Some orca pods are known to stay together for their entire lives, which can be 50 to 90 years. Here are some key statistics about orca social structures. Number 1. Pod size. Resident orca pods can consist of anywhere from 5 to 50 individuals. Secondly, life expectancy. Female orcas can live up to 90 years, with an average lifespan of 50 years, while males live an average of 30 to 50 years. And thirdly, cultural transmission. Orcas teach each other hunting techniques, vocalizations, and migratory routes. In this way, they are one of the few species on Earth that exhibits culture. This culture is not just about survival, it's about passing on knowledge and traditions. Much like humans, killer whales have been observed teaching their young how to hunt specific types of prey. For example, in some regions, older orcas will intentionally weaken prey, allowing younger, less experienced orcas to practice hunting techniques. While many animals rely on instinct, killer whales learn, adapt, and evolve, passing on what they've learned to the next generation. But the most astonishing revelation of all comes when we examine the emotional lives of these creatures. In just a moment, we'll uncover the depth of their emotional intelligence, including the startling fact that orcas, like humans, mourn their dead. Now, let's talk about something truly profound: the emotional lives of killer whales. Yes, these predators of the deep are more than just hunters. They are thinkers, they are feelers. And as we've learned, they exhibit levels of social and emotional intelligence rarely seen in the animal kingdom. In 2018, a female orca named Tahlequah, part of the southern resident killer whale population, captured global attention. After giving birth to a calf that lived for only 30 minutes, Tahlequah did something extraordinary. She carried her dead calf for 17 days and over 1,000 miles, refusing to let it go. This was not an isolated incident. Killer whales have been observed mourning their dead in various ways, sometimes even altering their behavior for days after a loss. While we might be tempted to anthropomorphize these animals, it's becoming increasingly clear that orcas experience a range of emotions, from grief to joy, from fear to frustration. According to researchers, orcas have one of the largest and most developed brains in the animal kingdom, second only to humans when adjusted for body size. Their brain weighs up to 15 pounds and contains highly developed limbic systems, the part of the brain associated with emotions. This development suggests that orcas are capable of experiencing complex emotions, much like humans, chimpanzees, and elephants. They form deep bonds within their pods, and the loss of a pod member, especially a calf, appears to have a profound emotional impact. But it's not just their emotional depth that sets orcas apart. They are also highly playful and inventive animals. Orcas have been observed playing with seaweed, tossing fish into the air for sport, and even interacting with boats, sometimes seemingly for the fun of it. These behaviors are not merely instinctual, they are indicators of cognitive complexity. Let's break this down. First and most astonishing is tool use. Some orca populations have been observed using tools, such as rubbing their bodies against rocks or using kelp to play. They show a clear display of problem-solving. Orcas have demonstrated the ability to solve complex problems in captivity and in the wild. In one documented case, orcas were seen cooperating to steal fish from long-line fishing boats. Working together is no small task, but the orca is a professional at cooperative play. In the wild, orcas engage in play with other pod members, further reinforcing their social bonds. In just a moment, we'll explore how this intelligence translates into highly sophisticated hunting strategies, making orcas one of the most successful hunters on the planet. As we've already seen, killer whales possess remarkable intelligence. But to understand how they've become the rulers of the ocean, we need to explore the adaptations that make them so effective as predators. Take a look inside the mouth of a killer whale, and you'll find 40 to 56 interlocking conical teeth, each up to 4 inches long. These teeth aren't just for biting, they are weapons designed to tear through the flesh of their prey. Orcas' jaws are so powerful that they can crush the bones of even large marine mammals. Studies estimate that an orca's bite force can exceed 19,000 pounds per square inch, PSI, making it one of the strongest in the animal kingdom, far exceeding the bite force of a great white shark, which is around 4,000 PSI. This immense bite force allows orcas to feast on everything from small fish to large whales. In fact, orcas have been observed tearing through the thick blubber of grey whales, using their powerful jaws to extract nutrient-rich blubber and organs. Despite their massive size, killer whales are also among the fastest marine mammals. Their streamlined bodies allow them to reach speeds of up to 34 miles per hour when in pursuit of prey. But speed isn't their only advantage. Orcas are incredibly agile for their size, able to make sharp turns and quick movements to outmaneuver prey or avoid obstacles. Here are some key statistics about orca speed and agility. The orca can reach a top speed over 34 miles per hour, 55 kilometers per hour. When they are just chilling, average cruising speed 5 to 6 miles per hour, 8 to 10 kilometers per hour, which allows them to travel long distances while conserving energy. Like Steph Curry at the three-point line, killer whales don't miss with their hunting efficiency. Orcas can chase down and capture fast-swimming prey, such as dolphins, which are known to reach speeds of 37 miles per hour. Now you may be wondering, how does an animal that size maintain such agility in the water? The answer lies in their extraordinary adaptations, which we'll uncover in just a moment. Let's take a closer look at some of the physical features that make orcas such efficient hunters. The epic dorsal fin. We've already mentioned the iconic dorsal fin of the orca, but did you know that the shape and condition of the dorsal fin can also tell you a lot about the health and status of the individual? For example, a collapsed dorsal fin, often seen in captive orcas, is a sign of poor health or stress. In the wild, around 1% of orcas have collapsed dorsal fins, whereas in captivity, this figure rises dramatically, with up to 100% of males in captivity developing this condition due to lack of space and stress. The all-seeing eyes. Orcas have excellent vision both above and below water, though their vision is secondary to their echolocation abilities. Their eyes are adapted to see well in dim light, which is useful in the deep ocean. ORCAs use echolocation as their primary sensory tool. They emit clicks that bounce off objects in the water, giving them a 3D map of their surroundings, even in complete darkness or murky water. Orcas' echolocation clicks can be as loud as 230 decibels, louder than a jet engine. This allows them to detect prey from up to 500 meters away. With these sensory adaptations, killer whales are able to detect the size, shape, and even the internal structures of their prey, giving them an unparalleled advantage in the underwater world. It's not just physical strength or sensory abilities that keep killer whales at the top of the food chain. Their social structure and group hunting tactics are equally, if not more, important to their dominance. Orcas don't hunt alone. They rely on the strength of their pods, coordinated, sophisticated groups of hunters. One of the most well-documented tactics is wave washing. Orcas will work together to create waves that knock seals off ice floes directly into the jaws of their waiting pod members. Studies have shown that orcas have an up to 90% success rate when hunting in groups, depending on the prey. This is compared to lions, who have about a 20% success rate in group hunts on land. Here are some other impressive cooperative hunting techniques. Not your average bubbles, bubble net feeding. Orcas will blow bubbles to corral schools of fish into a tight ball, making them easier to capture. Like they're playing Halo 2, flanking is a key technique. When hunting larger prey, such as whales, orcas will flank their target, with individuals taking on different roles. Some distract the prey, while others go in for the kill. It's not the Olympics, but they are skilled at synchronized diving. Orcas will dive in synchrony to trap prey from all sides, leaving their target no room for escape. And their dominance doesn't stop at other marine animals. As we'll see, killer whales even take on the ocean's most feared predator, the great white shark. There are few animals in the ocean that inspire as much fear as the great white shark. But even the mighty great white pales in comparison to the intelligence and power of a killer whale. In the waters off the coast of South Africa, a strange phenomenon began to unfold. Great white sharks, once the apex predator of these waters, began to disappear. It wasn't until orcas were seen hunting great whites that the mystery was solved. Killer whales have developed a specific strategy for hunting great whites. They flip the sharks upside down, inducing tonic immobility, a state of paralysis. Once immobilized, the orcas target the shark's liver, which is rich in fats and nutrients. It's a brutal, efficient process that showcases the intelligence of these animals. A single orca can extract and consume the liver of a great white shark, which can weigh up to 600 pounds in a matter of minutes. This hunting technique has been observed in multiple orca populations around the world, confirming that killer whales have developed a specialized strategy for dealing with even the most dangerous predators in the ocean. And so, we've come full circle. From the surface of the sea to its darkest depths, the killer whale reigns supreme, not just because of its physical power, but because of its intelligence, adaptability, and complex social behavior. In every corner of the ocean, from the icy waters of Antarctica to the temperate coasts of the Pacific Northwest, killer whales demonstrate time and again that they are the undisputed apex predators of the sea. Now that we've explored how orcas maintain their role as the top predator, let's look at the crucial role they play in maintaining the health of marine ecosystems. The keystone species. Killer whales are what ecologists call a keystone species. Much like the keystone in an arch that holds the entire structure together, killer whales help maintain the balance of marine ecosystems. Without them, the populations of their prey could explode, which would have cascading effects throughout the food chain. For example, in regions where orca populations have declined, sea otter numbers have also decreased due to increased predation by orcas. This, in turn, has led to the explosion of sea urchin populations, which overgraze on kelp forests, causing these vital marine habitats to degrade. The presence of orcas keeps these ecosystems in balance, preventing any one species from overwhelming the others and maintaining the overall health of the ocean environment. Killer whales play a direct role in controlling the populations of species like seals, sea lions, and even other whales. Their hunting helps prevent overpopulation, which could otherwise lead to the depletion of fish stocks and other marine resources. A single orca can eat up to 500 pounds of food in a day. When you consider that some pods number up to 50 individuals, that's as much as 25,000 pounds of food consumed daily. This immense consumption helps regulate prey populations, ensuring that no single species dominates the ecosystem. In this way, killer whales help to maintain healthy fish populations, prevent overgrazing by herbivorous species like sea urchins and fish, and support biodiversity in marine environments. But as we'll see, the future of orca populations is anything but secure. Despite their dominance, killer whales face a number of threats, most of them human-induced. From pollution to habitat destruction, these apex predators are increasingly at risk. Killer whales are at the top of the food chain, which means they are especially vulnerable to the accumulation of toxins in their bodies through a process known as biomagnification. Chemicals like PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, once widely used in industrial applications, have found their way into the oceans. These chemicals do not break down easily and instead accumulate in the tissues of marine animals, becoming more concentrated as they move up the food chain. Some orca populations, such as the southern resident killer whales in the Pacific Northwest, have been found to have some of the highest levels of PCBs ever recorded in marine mammals. These chemicals can weaken their immune systems, reduce reproductive success, and lead to premature deaths. These toxins are passed from mother to calf through milk, further endangering the next generation of orcas. It's a vicious cycle, and unless we take steps to reduce pollution in our oceans, we could see a significant decline in orca populations. The not-so-silent killer, noise pollution. Killer whales rely heavily on sound for communication and hunting, but as human activity in the oceans has increased, so has the amount of noise. From ship traffic to underwater drilling, this noise pollution can disrupt the delicate balance of an orca's world. Studies have shown that the noise from ships can reduce the effectiveness of killer whale echolocation by up to 62%. This means orcas are finding it harder to locate prey, communicate with each other, and navigate their environments. In some regions, killer whales are facing a shortage of their primary food sources. For example, the southern resident killer whales rely heavily on Chinook salmon for their diet. However, overfishing, habitat destruction, and climate change have led to a significant decline in Chinook salmon populations. Chinook salmon, which once numbered in the millions in the Pacific Northwest, have seen a decline of over 60% in some areas over the past several decades. This has had a direct impact on the southern resident orcas, whose numbers have dropped to less than 75 individuals. Next time you think of the great predators of the Earth, remember the killer whale. Remember their intelligence, their strength, and their importance.